You're opening a very special exhibition here at Wereldmuseum, right?
Yeah, we're really excited to present Darwin in Paradise Camp by Yuki Kihara.
Could you tell us something about her? What's her inspiration for her work?
Well, Yuki Kihara is really a well-known artist at this point in her career, and she's a Fa'afafine person of Samoan and Japanese descent. Fa'afafine is like a third gender that exists in Samoa.
The Fa'afafine is a very natural part of that community, right?
Yeah, and Samoa, the community has recognised for a long time that there are four genders: male, female, Fa'afafine, and Fatama. And Fa'afafine, if you translate it, it can be translated as in the manner of a woman. So people who are born male, but they live in their life more or less like a woman, but it's actually its own gender. And Fatama means the opposite of that, or the pairing of that, which is in the manner of a man.
This exhibition is about that topic, right?
It's partly about that topic. It's actually that informs Yuki's work all of the time. And she's always very determined to represent her community in a positive way, because they're actually subject to a bit of discrimination at this point. But there are bigger themes, and the bigger themes are to do with Western knowledge systems and the kinds of oppressions that causes, because of the hierarchies that are inherent in there. So when she's thinking about Gauguin, for example, she's thinking about how he created stereotypical images, say, of women, and very exploitative. And she reclaims that and puts her own people in there, her own community members, and really upcycles it, as she would put it, which is taking the best of Gauguin, but then reclaiming it and making it into something really positive, very political in its own way, but also really enjoyable. So it has the sugary, soft end that really brings you close, but then it also hits you with something more serious.
So basically, it's a critique on what other people have done, but also like reclaiming that narrative.
Absolutely, that's what she's doing all of the time in this particular exhibition. The new aspect of this work, because the Gauguin work has been around for a little while, is about Darwin, so Charles Darwin, and the Western knowledge system that put a preference or put a lens on things that was very heteronormative. Because he's a Victorian gentleman, of course, he's telling some of the story, but he's not telling about the diversity that exists in the natural kingdom. And the diversity is to do with things like maybe males caring for the young, or the change of sex over a lifetime of a different species, and all of these other things that we as humans might call queer. And so actually the natural world is queer. It's really queer. And so he felt like he couldn't actually highlight those things. He just told the very heteronormative version of what he observed.
Usually people associate Darwin with a very scientific way of looking at things, but actually the things he published were also works of their time.
Works of their time, and it's not that he's unscientific, but it's a partial story. So yeah, he's scientific. We owe a lot to Darwin if we're sort of interested in that methodology, his scientific work. But there was more. So it's what was left out, and that's what Yuki is putting back in the picture. And there's a new work that Yuki developed in order to do that very forcefully, and we're showing it for the first time here in Leiden. Well, for the first time ever, but we're lucky that we get to do that here in Leiden. And that's called Queer Moana Taxonomy. And so I really encourage people to come and see new work by Yuki.
So this exhibition is opening tomorrow, as of today. What can people expect when they visit this exhibition?
A really visually enjoyable experience. It's quite strong on the eyes because it's full of colour. It's really enjoyable. But also to read the text and sit with things for a little while, because there's a lot more layers under that, and there's a lot that Yuki's saying.